scheduled. Go live. Oh, here we are. It's the normal good afternoon guy. Here's Josh. Josh is going to come. Excellent, Josh. Welcome from Canada. I guess it's good afternoon to you, is it? Just about. No, he's not listening. Josh is not listening. Well, here we are. This is the. And he's gone. He came and he went. So here we are. Ian, before we watch the video, should we try and unpack how we got to getting the video? Because in some ways, I think this is more of a story than the actual video itself.
Yeah, this has been a long fight to get, especially for people that don't know. I'll just shift my camera around a bit here because I don't think I'm centered up right for that. So this goes back a year ago when it was claimed there was Russian drones again.
Russian drones.
This was the start of it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
over
it was
Lakenheath. And then what then kind of seemed to underline it for people, and certainly for like the MOD and that, was there was an incident where there was a call that resulted in the National Police Air Service helicopter being dispatched, went up to Lakenheath, and then went off on a bit of an adventure. And now this would have forever remained. There was a drone. It got near a police helicopter and almost took it out of the sky, and there'd have probably been laws that came after that, more regulation. There would have certainly been that kind of hysteria, the drone industry, which you get so often without any evidence. So we jumped on this straight away, obviously having the experience of Gatwick and that before, where if you leave these things, the longer you leave it, the harder it is to get the evidence. And the good thing about this is the National Police Air Service helicopters, they have the transponder, and I think it's Mode S, isn't it, Gary?
ADSB, I think, in this case. ADSB.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's even better then. But it meant that anyway, we could go to the flight. In this case, it was ADSB exchange and get the flight data, and that immediately sparked concerns about the story, because you could see that the helicopter was searching around. It was going at over 100 miles an hour. Well, drones don't fly that fast, especially when you talk about big drones, electric drones, multi-rotors. You're looking about 50 miles an hour. So it was like, this just doesn't look like a jet. And then it was going up to like, I think it might have been as high as 10,000 foot, but it was certainly several thousand. None of this just rung true for a drone. With a drone, not only have you got the thing of flying it for that time, but if you take time flying up, when they fly down, they'll fly down even slower because it's trying to avoid the vortex ring state. There's lots of complexity around it which people don't seem to understand, and this is why, again, with Ireland, it's very frustrating. There's lots of common sense. This does not add up, and this was one of these where it was like, wait a minute, this drone's been up for this time, and there's been a chase with a helicopter, and then the drone has chased the helicopter. It's like, no. None of that adds up. And that's what we were saying from the start and looking at the data. And so it was then using the Freedom of Information Act. Thankfully, I mean, that was obviously from the drone scene viewpoint. There was a lot of interest, obviously, from the UAP scene as well, because when there was, this.
Which, if you're a normal person like me, a viewer, UAP is UFO. It's what they call them now. They've gone all woke. UAPs are UFOs.
Yeah, I mean, the UAP scenes of different people. Some would think of it more of that could be a mysterious craft. Maybe it's some unknown aircraft from abroad, whatever. Something that Russia's developed, or China, or Iran, or what. So you've got people with different thoughts about it. So they were doing freedom of information as well. Thankfully, in this case, and I do think it is what helped this. Even though it's taken myself in this case sort of pushing with the Freedom of Information Act to get this, I still feel the fact that behind that the authorities knew that the BBC was interested, So it's Matt at BBC that's
yeah.
been
Well,
reporting for this.
I think you have to wind back a little bit because
Yeah.
we caught wind that this video was about, and nobody would let us have this video as SOS News or as Ian. But as soon as the BBC started sniffing, then they were interested. So I think am I right in saying that?
Well, I think it was more the fact that we know from past experience that the Air Prox Board do not investigate drone air proxies to any degree. They accept the pilot's explanation. And I think it was likely the fact that the BBC had done some reporting and were interested that maybe the Air Prox Board did a proper job. Because that's really what helped unlock this. The fact that the Air Prox Board themselves said, wait a minute, this wasn't a drone, it was an F-15. But that was right at the end of this.
Yeah.
That was several months in when national security was being brought up of saying, you can't see this video, it's national security, it's far too important, the world will fall apart if the public sees this, which obviously isn't the case. And this will be a good example of how national security is used and abused, that when you actually see things at the end, they aren't, there's nothing in here you're seeing.
But about a year ago, I think it was about this time last year, that the USAF managed to get in all sorts of airspace restrictions in the UK on the back of this incident. So commercial operators in the UK weren't able to operate in various areas. I think it was, from memory says it was 12. That could be completely wrong. But anyway, there were several areas, airspace restrictions that were put in force because of this. And you've also got to remember, in America, this was after America, wasn't it? Was it?
No, this was before, and I think this is what sparked it off. Just for the benefit of the viewers, I think Gary's. Yeah, you were just stopping that. But yeah, this sparked it off. I think this was used as a bit of a catalyst for people that wanted to make noise about. Because it was a lot of the UAP scene over in the US that were kind of heightening. These lights in the sky are mysterious drones from Iran, and because the press over there, I say the press over there is the worse. They're not necessarily from what we've seen,
No.
but the press over there was throwing lots of petrol on the fire of filming normal aircraft and saying that these are mysterious drones when there were no such thing. And even the BBC was really lackluster on that. Took them weeks before they did a BBC verified piece saying, oh, wait a minute, that these aren't drones. And it was obvious they weren't drones. Not only did you could see they weren't drones, but the ADSB was there that quite clearly said this is an aircraft. So again,
so that's to give it the context. I'm not sure what dropped down. My internet's terrible here. I'm not to give it context. There was lots of drone scares about at the time. I'm gonna start running the video. We'll see if we can talk. And if in my instance, I hope it should keep playing because it's going to play from America, and you're just going to have to keep talking. But all right, let's see. I'm going to hit play, and then you tell me.
So for the benefit of the viewer, we've got the map as well, so that we can see the helicopter at the top. That's heading up towards the Lakenheath base. You've got the camera operator here in the helicopter looking around. Now, it turns out it wasn't even the base that had called up and said, oh, we think there's drones. It was just a normal member of the public. And it doesn't, I've seen the call log, and it doesn't seem to have given any description at all. So I think it's just seen lights in the sky. This is always a bad indicator with sightings, because people that operate drones and fly them at night know very well you can't see a drone at a great distance. You hear it first. And in fact, while we're doing that, just in case there's any journalists from Ireland watching, no one seems to understand this basic fact. Drones do not have aviation navigation lights. And I don't know how often this needs saying. They have little tiny LEDs. Now, these LEDs, this is actually a drone from a few years ago. It has a lot of them. You don't typically get that these days. You'll get one on an arm. So you won't even get three. But these are actually less brightness than this torch, and get off Amazon for a tenner. So they're not bright.
And just to drop into you there, now in the video, we're coming overhead or over there. We're coming out. This is Lakenheath. You see in the top right. This is Lakenheath. We're over the base now.
Yeah, and the important thing here is if there was any drones flying about, they've got a really strong heat signature, you would see them. So if there was these big, massive Russian drones flying about, they would be showing up on the video we're seeing now, which
I'm looking
is
for
the
them coming
infrared.
from the sea. They're all going to come from the sea. They're going to be launched from a boat. And then some German fellows are going to make up some reports about that. I'm sure they are. Now, that's a golf course. When Ian and I did our video, because we look, we don't get out enough. We look around bases to see what using Street View to see exactly what cameras and things are available. And I clearly remember when Ian and I went down that main road, which you can see to the right of the skid going around the golf course, looking for cameras, CCTV, and any sensors, if there's any genuine counter UAS sensors, because we know how this story goes in this world. There is a sighting. This is the sighting night. Now, what I should say is the USAF have got F-15s airborne. They've got a tanker airborne. There's all sorts of assets in the sky chasing down the drones now. But you can see from this footage. Go on.
South of here is Newmarket, and there's lots of civilian traffic flying with the navigation lights on, obviously at night. And it was a particularly clear night on this occasion, so that you could actually see the navigation lights on air traffic for quite some distance. Yeah.
So we go around, we look for sensors, we look for stuff. But how the story normally goes is there's a sighting on night 1, and night 2, every man and his dog rings up and says they've seen something. And next week, or week after next, the Royal Air Force will turn up with the proper kit, and they'll say, "Oh, there's nothing here." And that's how these stories go. But the press will have got hold of it, and it will be taken as fact. So here we are.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point with that of saying the RAF gets sent in. That's what happened originally. The Gatwick RAF was sent in. Then there was no rogue drones about. It proved that there was nothing flying about other than the police's own drones, which the detective said they're fine, they're friendly. So we had that situation here at Lakenheath where the RAF was sent out. Nothing was found because there was nothing flying about. And then obviously business as usual. And then we've seen in Europe when there's been the similar panics, like in Belgium, the RAF were sent out to the bases. Those bases that were saying drones. Moment RAF turn up, proper kits there, it stops again. So this pattern isn't a surprise. It is happening time and time again. And this is an important point on what we're seeing here as well for what's been happening in airports around the EU. Take Munich, for example. So when drones were seen, what they did was they launched helicopters. Now, it's a good idea and a bad idea at the same time. The problem with putting a helicopter up is it's got navigation lights itself. So it goes up, and a lot of people then report the helicopters. Because in Munich, they said, we had a drone, and then we had a second wave. And I thought, oh, you had a second wave, but you launched helicopters. I would bet the second waves with a helicopter actually being seen by multiple people. But the good thing about the helicopter, as you can see here, though, at least it does have, this is what's called the EO/IR head that we're looking at. So it can see normal video when you're looking at daytime, at night, and even in the day, you can switch to this infrared mode so you can see the heat, but it's brilliant at night. So this just shows that a lot of it is nonsense, because when helicopters took off at Munich, if it's got your EO/IR on, as you can see here, you can see for kilometers. If there's a large drone flying about, it's got a really good heat signature. The batteries give out heat, the motors give out heat. It can look around for it, it can zoom in. You can see what model of drone it is, what payload it's got. The National Police Air Service have got videos already up where they have pursued small consumer drones. And the narrative is it's not a small consumer drone, it's huge. So it being huge, it's even easier to see and to track and to follow. And the fact that no one has, and you would have the video, as you've got here, 720p or 1080p.
But obviously this has got special secret powers, and that's why we can't see it. Now, come on, Ian, obviously. Get with the narrative. Special now, dear viewer, you're wondering why Ian's not zoomed in the ADSB track, but watch the helicopter coming down, because we're coming we're coming to probably what's the important bit, really. It's a little while out yet. I'm not sure how many. I can't see how far along the video is, but we're coming to the important bit. That there was no, there was plainly nothing there that night. And look, they're still looking. And this, as Ian has said, and I keep breaking up, this is playing out across Europe, and the Irish one's even worse. People, to me, because people are they are really arguing that there's a genuine video out there, and they should stop talking. Oh, now what's this? Do you think? What was that? Is he going to go back to that?
On the ground, wasn't there here? Which we don't.
Where was that looking? Oh, well, if you look to the right of the aircraft, what was the heading? If that was off to the east, and that I reckon that was the Pack Horse Inn, according to your a big night at the Pack Horse Inn. What are they looking at? They're looking back. Are they looking back at the airfield there? Because this is the first time I've. Oh, there we go. There's that signature again.
Yeah, they're just zooming in to see is that something.
Two targets, but see how far away it was. I don't know if on that video it gives you a distance to it, but that was miles away from where he was then.
Yeah, I think it's got. I didn't know what the value was on the hood on the line, but as value comes up on there. I think that might be the laser rangefinder.
Do you remember what that was? Right? I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. So here they go. They're backing away. They're going home. They're going home for TMLs. I don't think they're in running away mode now, are they?
No, because we've got the spinning round chase. So this was a part of the initial part of the mission where they come down from the south, from the base. And here is where they think they might have seen something that's coming up.
2, 3, 2. Oh, I see the numbers there. Maybe an MPAS operator will tell us. That probably is the laser.
Yeah, that's what I was
thinking. The target. There it is, down and bottom and right. I see it. I see what they're looking at. And now
it must be, isn't it? Because when you put it down at the ground, you get a value, and when you lift it up, it goes because there's nothing to hit against.
Maybe one of the dear viewers knows, but I certainly don't know. But they don't seem to be paying attention. You see the helicopters turning. You can see it on the ADSB. Of course, the turret's looking differently. You watch the north arrow. Look, they're lasing something at 778 something. That's meters. You reckon must be meters, mustn't it? 7-8 kilometers away. And then is this?
I think at this point, according to the ADSB, it looked like they were going at quite some speed.
Yeah. So this is the bit. This is the bit that prompted the air procs, wasn't it? The running away bit.
Well, no, it starts first, and we'll see it when they see it on the EOIR. They see a dot, and then they zoom in on it, and then it's the panic of thinking, oh, this is the drone coming at us, when obviously it wasn't. It was the F-15 jet, at which point they then turn around and fly south back to the base. So
that's a pity.
They'll spin around a little more first, and then there'll be about 2 minutes of it.
But it's a pity that they've left out the audio. I would like to have heard the air traffic control audio. Because I don't think the Lakenheath controller said, hey, police helicopter, I've got F-15s returning to the base. You might see lights in north. And I don't think they said to the F-15s, hey, F-15s, we've got a police helicopter operating down in the Newmarket area. And I think that's where the confusion lies. So I would like to hear the full.
Oh, we've lost Gary again for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're back.
I'm back. That's it coming into shot, isn't it?
I don't think
or
so.
Or is that yeah, what is that?
Well, there were a few dead pixels on this display, which is just to be aware of.
Oh, yes. Yes, okay. I see that now. Now, do you think that's a layer of cloud? What do you think we're looking at there?
It kind of looks like there's some cloud up there, doesn't it? But I've never looked for an EOIR at night at the sky, so I'm none the wiser for that.
So look,
The
we're coming
interesting
at
thing about
overhead new
EOIR
market.
for the audience, this is how. Oh, they did switch back to normal camera for a second. Then it's a shame they didn't keep that on a bit for when we see the aircraft.
Well, that tells you. I was just going to say that tells you we can see their overhead new market now. So the police helicopter is operating overhead new market. Now there we are. That's what they worry about, isn't it?
So the EOIR head. This is what you have on counter drone systems. So this is how they actually see a drone, because of the good thermal signature. What they'll do is they'll use radar or they'll use RF, and that will direct the head initially, and then it will see the drone. It will lock onto it with a video head, and then it will track it, and that captures your evidence to say this is a drone, and obviously to also think, is it a threat? Is it carrying a payload that we need to worry about? So this is why we're interested in seeing this on helicopters as well, because they've got the same capability. This is very expensive gear that's on this helicopter, similar to what you have on military aircraft. The National Police Air Service, their gear is between about $250,000 and £1 million on the optics that they purchase. So it's top-notch stuff.
Now I remember at the time thinking, when we first saw this ADS-B track, they've been milling around town. Now I can imagine they might have seen somebody flying a Mavic or something on a
here we go.
night.
Top of the screen.
Oh yeah, contact. So that just went across the top right now.
Yeah.
I thought earlier one of these might have been an airliner. We got to get the other.
Here we go.
Something goes across the screen. Here we are. Now does that ranging come up?
No, because it doesn't have it on it long enough.
So this, as we learned later on, is an F-15 bearing down on them. Or one might say an F-15 just going about its nightly business.
Because the F-15 pilot isn't aware that it's being considered a drone and being pursued at the minute.
No, and this is this whole idea. Let's shoot them all down. Just shoot them down. If you see something in the sky, shoot it down.
Yeah, that is a good point for the audience. When people keep saying shoot stuff down, this is why you don't do it, because time and time again, it is civilian air traffic or even military air traffic that's been misidentified as a drone. And this has all come about because Joe Bloggs on the ground has said he's seen a drone that was could have been more F-15s, it could have been stars, it could have
if you're listening, Russia or someone else, and you want to close an airfield, here we are. Here's your device for closing an airfield. That's all you need to do. Call the airfield and you'll close it, which is it's ridiculous. Which tells us really that we don't have a good idea. We don't have a good sky picture. When they start, don't they put the camera down when they run away?
At the moment they decide they feel it's too dangerous because they're concerned that this thing is a drone that's chasing them. They then turn south to the base, which will happen shortly.
I want to go to the Pack Horse Inn. Next time in the UK, we're going to go and have a beer at the Pack Horse Inn, because this is appearing lots in this video. So I feel that's probably the heart of the problem. There's a tight turn on the ADS-B. Yeah, it could easily have been somebody operating down there, a Mavic or something like that. But as I say, if you search in SOS News, you'll find various Lakenheath things that we've put out, and you'll find the airprops report and things like that. It's just such a shame that this video was so hard to get. We knew it was there.
And that's a frustration they're having in Ireland at the moment. But the problem there is I don't think their freedom of information laws, as flexible as ours. Ours isn't easy still. America's brilliant. They will release all the military video, and it has shown time and again mistakes are being made. And it's a good job it doesn't stop it getting released, because if the military themselves aren't identifying mistakes are being made, those mistakes are going to be repeated. And it's probably good that there are, people keen enough to have a look at this and say, wait a minute, the ADSB shows that actually is an aircraft, or we can see that that's in like the Navy release, that it was actually stars. Hopefully someone will see the sort of open source analysis, and that will get fed back and some lessons will be learned. But this is good that we're actually seeing this, because again, if this had been hidden, as I say, it would have gone down as forever being a drone. And there's lessons to be learned here. We've got an example of how a military aircraft can be mistaken for a drone, and this, there could have been consequences out of this. It could, if this had ended up with it being a collision, and that's over residential area, that's a significant air disaster. Consequences.
Well, it was probably more disastrous in some ways. If you're a UK viewer and you know this new market area, they probably overhead some of the Queen's horses here. There could have been loss of life on the ground, but they might have smacked.
Now, is it?
Yeah, you can see
the area. So this is it
running away.
Town.
Yeah. This is it running away off to the south. I don't know how much longer the video goes, but I think MPAS have been very good in this whole thing, haven't they? They've been quite forthcoming in their interactions with us, and they've not been a problem.
It's worth adding. It was the Ministry of Defence and that were putting hurdles in the way of this. Because the National Police Air Service were really having to ask their permission to let it go. It seems daft when there's clearly no crime that's being committed here. I think
now we must go to this pub. He's going to go straight over the three blackbirds. So we're going to go to the Pack Horse Inn and the three blackbirds. I wonder if it's going to come into the shop. Let's look for the blackbird. It must be in here somewhere. I don't know why the camera went straight down. Maybe that's the high speed position. Maybe you've got to stow it like that when you're dashing. But the helicopter
it just might be that you just thought there's no point in me operating it anymore. We're just going back to base.
So one has to say the words. Already the press have been onto you trying to get a hold of this video. So that's why we've done this ad hoc rush it out now, because here is the video. And everyone else will be running it now. I don't think it'll run in many places because, quite honestly, it's not all that interesting, is it, really? Unless you're like us with an intense interest because of the problems this caused our industry. If you're normal general public, it's, oh, no, there's no UFO. There's no big drone. Oh, this is dull. There's no hordes of stuff. So
the thing from this is letting people understand the fact that these things, they're made out to be these big dramas at the time, and when the actual evidence comes out, it's just something mundane. It is just an innocent mistake, and that's fine. People should be able to own up without any finger pointing and saying it was an honest mistake. Because at the end of the day, this helicopter crew didn't know there wasn't a drone. They were specifically told there was a drone, so they've gone out on that basis. And this is the important point for people to understand as well, the confirmation bias. So if you've got lookouts on a Navy ship and you've said to them, oh, when Russia's been a problem in the past with flying drones, they might try something on, then you're guaranteeing that someone is going to report a drone because you feel responsible. If you see a light in the sky, you're like, well, I've got to report that. If I don't, and there's consequences, it's on my neck. So it's all just normal human responses that are all fine, that there shouldn't be finger point, but you should be able to say, look, we've made these errors. Let's, learn from this and make sure it doesn't happen again. And I'm sure with National Police, well, to be honest, it wasn't, it wasn't their fault. It was the force calling them up. But hopefully maybe the force, I think it was Suffolk Force that called them. You'd hope they'd tell their call operators, if someone calls in future, maybe ask these questions. How are they sure that it's a drone? Are they hearing it? Some questions. Is it red and green lights? Yes. Oh, well, then it's an aircraft. Those kind of things.
Yeah, then it was. So just to be clear for dear viewers joining us late, it was a super clear night in the UK. You could see miles and miles and miles. There was loads of air traffic again. Mick West's MetaBunk thing's got all sorts of stuff on this as well. All sorts of people have looked at it, and well, it just didn't smell right for us from the beginning. How we're going to, I don't know. The thing that's worried me the most this week is this report out of Germany, that they've used AI and other stuff to track ships and do this and do that. It's like, no, you haven't. You just made up a story based on what you could see. We might as well say, well, I think we joked earlier this week that we could suggest that every roundabout in a children's playground is some sort of tuning device that can jam other stuff. You can make anything up. The trouble is it's being taken as fact at the minute, and we're going to miss, because of this tail chasing, we're going to miss the incidents that matter, and we're not looking at the right things, and that worries me. Of course, I'm ex-RAF, so I'm very proud to say, just call the RAF, they'll sort it out, but that shouldn't actually be the answer. I've ranted. Are we at the end of it now?
I think with that, we should let the viewers off after sitting through that 30 minutes or so of helicopter flight. That in the end, although it was made out as very eventful at the time, and if you look at the Daily Mail, according to this, it was Russian drones and Iran and China and aliens.
Coming from ships off the East Coast, coming in
swarms,
coming through the night, and it's we're chasing the wrong thing here. We really are. We've got to be very careful, because if any of us want to disrupt air traffic for whatever the reason, we don't need expensive stuff at all. We just need to make a phone call and say what we've seen. So things need to change around the world. Of course, last week, the NDN, the Defense Thing for America 2026, they got $3 billion ready for counter UAS. Hello there, Vic. Ready for counter US. So they're going to start taking it perhaps more seriously, but I worry that it's just people are going to sell them rubbish. But you're right, Ian, we should let people return to their normal viewing. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us. Well done, Ian. Well done, everybody that's pushed hard. It's a really fantastic job. And if you push hard enough, you'll get in the air. Thanks very much for MPAS to finally allowing this to be released. And hopefully other reporters will start looking a little bit more critically at things that they're reporting. That's all we ask of you. Before you report it as the end of the world, just look properly. This had big airspace restrictions for people in the UK. People lost money because of this. They couldn't run their commercial operations. And that's the bottom line. Anyway, dear viewer, wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for joining us at such very short notice. We'll be back again tomorrow at 2100 Gin and Tonic for our normal chat of nonsense. Thanks, Ian. Thanks very much, dear viewers. Look after yourself. Cheers, guys.